Have you ever wondered what the world was truly like before the arrival of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? We often hear the term Jahiliyyah, or the age of ignorance. But what did that really mean for people's daily lives? Let's journey back in time to the 6th century and paint a picture of the world that was waiting for a guiding light. The Arabian Peninsula, the cradle of Islam, was a land of stark contrasts. On one hand, you had breathtaking poetry, a deep-seated code of honor, and incredible hospitality. But on the other, society was fractured and torn apart by tribalism. Your tribe was your nation, your law, and your identity. The slightest offense could trigger a blood feud, a cycle of revenge that could last for generations, consuming lives and resources over petty disputes. There was no central government, no unified law to protect the weak or deliver justice. Might made right, and the strongest tribe ruled. Socially, the conditions were dire for many. Women were often treated as property, with their rights severely limited. In some extreme and tragic cases, the practice of female infanticide existed, where newborn daughters were buried alive due to a perceived sense of shame or economic burden. This wasn't a universal practice, but its existence points to the low status afforded to women in certain parts of society. Slavery was rampant, with human beings bought and sold like commodities, stripped of their freedom and dignity. Orphans were vulnerable, their inheritance often seized by powerful relatives, leaving them destitute and without protection. Spiritually, the heart of Arabia, the Kaʿbah in Mecca, built by Abraham and his son Ishmael for the worship of the one true God, had become a pantheon of idols. Over 360 different idols fill the sacred space, each representing a different tribe or a different supposed power. People would pray to these statues of stone and wood, seeking rain, children, or victory in battle. The pure monotheism of Abraham had been lost, replaced by a complex and confusing web of polytheism and superstition. Fortune-telling, astrology, and belief in omens were widespread as people sought guidance in the random flight of birds or markings in the sand, rather than from divine revelation. But this wasn't just a story about Arabia. Let's zoom out and look at the wider world. The two superpowers of the day were the Byzantine Empire in the west and the Sassanid Persian Empire in the east. These two giants were locked in a seemingly endless cycle of warfare that had lasted for centuries. They were like two exhausted boxers, constantly trading blows, draining their treasuries, and devastating the lands that lay between them. The Byzantine Empire, the successor to Rome, was officially Christian. However, it was deeply divided by complex theological disputes. Debates over the very nature of Christ led to bitter schisms, councils, and persecutions. Religion had become entangled with politics, leading to a rigid and often intolerant orthodoxy that alienated many of its subjects, especially in the eastern provinces like Syria and Egypt. While it had a rich heritage of law and philosophy, the empire was also characterized by heavy taxation, social stratification, and political intrigue. To the east, the Sassanid Persian Empire followed Zoroastrianism. This ancient faith, with its concepts of a cosmic struggle between good and evil, had become a rigid state religion. A strict caste system dominated society, where your birth determined your entire life's path, with little to no hope for social mobility. The priests and the nobility held all the power and wealth, while the common masses labored under their rule. The eternal flame of Zoroaster burned in the fire temples, but for many the spiritual light had grown dim, replaced by empty ritual and social oppression. Further east, in India, Hinduism and Buddhism flourished, offering profound philosophical insights. However, Indian society was also deeply fragmented by a rigid caste system, which dictated every aspect of a person's life, from their profession to who they could marry. In China, dynasties rose and fell, and the philosophies of Confucianism and Taoism provided moral and spiritual frameworks. But the vast distance meant their influence on the Middle East was minimal. So, this was the world stage in the 6th century. It was a world of powerful empires exhausted by war, of societies divided by rigid class structures, of people lost in superstition and idol worship, and of profound social injustice where the weak had no one to turn to. It was a world of spiritual confusion and moral decay. Humanity was adrift, searching for answers, for justice, for a connection to the divine that felt real and pure. It was a world crying out for change, a world yearning for a message that would unite hearts, not divide them, a message that would establish justice for the oppressed, grant dignity to every human being, and reconnect humanity with its Creator. It was into this darkness, into this very moment of global need, that a light was about to dawn in the city of Mecca. The final prophet, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was about to arrive, carrying a message that would forever change the course of human history. Thank you so much for joining me on this historical journey. If you found this insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the depths of our shared history. Until next time.